exactly is happening in the business community, things like that. And this is where we talk about it. We talk about everything that will affect the business community. Now, today we are still going to be continuing on our discussion from last week. Last week we started talking about the foreign exchange and all that. So today we are still going to continue with that. It's the Forex business challenges and opportunities. Some people will ask, are there really opportunities with this stretch of up and down? Well, up, it hasn't come down, or going up of the foreign exchange, especially the dollar, but you never know. So we're going to talk about it today right here, and our guest is the Chief Executive Officer, Thinkbusiness Africa, Dr. Ogho Okiti. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. This is my first time here, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
We are so happy. We are very glad to have you on board with us. Okay, so you can call in. I'm sure maybe you have questions, especially from last week, or even in the course of the week, something has happened and you want to ask questions. The number to call into is 0813 331 3172. 0813 331 3172. That's the number to call into. All right, so we'll go straight into the business of the matter. First of all, I think the first thing I want to know is why foreign exchange right now is so important to our economy that it's affecting it.
Oh, foreign exchange is very, very important to all economies, and it's not only to Nigerian economies. And the reason why it's important is because you can't produce everything that you either heat, wear, or use.
Okay.
And there's no country in the world that does that. Since there's no country in the world that produces everything that they need, you have to import. And of course, for you to be able to import, you have to export. You have to export so that you can buy the imports that you need. So that's the reason why every country needs some sort of foreign exchange, different sizes, different quantities of foreign exchange, but everyone does. So that's basically why we need foreign exchange. In Nigeria, obviously, we export crude oil, which is where most of our exports receipts come from. But we import so many things. We import things for our manufacturing. We import things for our power. We import things for our radio stations. So we do import so many things. So yes, foreign exchange is a very, very key component of business in Nigeria.
Okay, the way you say it now, it means, practically all businesses need foreign exchange.
Yes, everyone needs foreign exchange, even if you don't need it directly. You need it indirectly. What do I mean by that? Directly means that, like you're running a radio station now,
Okay.
They import equipment for the radio station. But that is directly to the Radio 1 station. But indirectly, that is what you also actually work with.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that the bosses at the top, decisions they are taking regarding the equipment and will affect the performance and the productivity of the work that you do. So everyone, you either need foreign exchange directly or you need it indirectly. But as a country, we need foreign exchange, and it's the same for every country. So Nigeria is not an isolated situation. Every country in the world requires foreign exchange.
Okay, so why is this affecting us so much now?
Okay, so the main problem that we have is that our home foreign exchange in the last 8 months now have become very, very volatile. So volatile in the sense that it is not stable. It is going up, sometimes it comes down, but mostly going up. And not only just going up, it is going up very, very rapidly.
Exactly, yes.
So why is that a problem? The main problem with that is that you cannot plan as a business person. That is the main reason. Of course, there are two main problems. One, you can't plan. Then two, it affects the prices, domestic prices of goods and services. And so when you have price and you have exchange rate instability, the main implication is that me and you, whether household, whether businesses, whether government, we cannot look very much ahead. So we begin to live on a daily basis. Our circumstances change on a daily basis. Prices changes on a daily basis. And that is not good for planning. It is not good for growth. It is not good for investment. And that is the most devastating aspect of macroeconomic or changes in prices, whether it's exchange rate or inflation. Yes.
So from what you say now, I can just generally attach it to, like, say, the budget of Nigeria.
Absolutely, yes. So the budget that was done, for instance, in November, that budget now, if you pick it up now, that budget is already scattered. So businesses, we as a business, we did our home budget also in November, and even at that time, we raised the rate of
The Forex.
of the forex. We raised the level. Because we believe, okay, this year there's a certain average that we think we should plan with. But that level is gone past that level now. So the point is, when you have when you have price and exchange rate instability like we do now, the main problem is that we can't look ahead. And human beings, all the wisdom that God gives us, whether it's for household, whether it's for business. So household is savings and investment for your future. Businesses is investment and for your future, for the future of the business. Government is about consumption and investment. So everybody looks ahead. All business decisions look ahead. So when we have a situation in the economy where we can't all look ahead anymore, then we are stuck. And that is why it is very, very important to deal with it.
Okay, so before we go to what government is doing to deal with it,
Yes.
what are businesses? What can businesses do? Is there any hope for businesses right now?
It's very, very tough. It's very, very tough because, like I said, the whole essence of business is the future.
Yeah.
You reason somebody will go to the bank, for instance, to say, oh, I need $1 billion as loan. Is that, oh, I have this idea, or I want to expand my business, or I want to make some kind of investment. So that's the reason you go and collect that loan, right? Okay. So when you collect that loan, and you have collected that loan, 1 billion, before you even get to the point of collecting that loan, you have done planning, you have done your strategy, you have done your pricing, you have done you have spoken to maybe people that will help you do some
things
work.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have collected the billion, okay, right in your bank account, and all of a sudden, all the metrics, all the numbers that you have used for your calculation, they have changed within. And not only have they changed, if they have changed and say, okay, they will remain like that for another 1 year, then you can say, okay, let's work with new numbers. No, they have changed and they keep changing. So what do you do with that 1 billion?
That's a big question.
It is a big question. So that is why it is a serious problem when we have price and exchange rate instability, and that is why the government is doing everything to ensure that that is brought under control.
So what are the worst case scenarios we're looking at now?
We're already in the worst case scenario. I don't know whether there's any other worst case scenario. Of course, the worst case scenario is that, and that's why I say we're already in the worst case scenario. So anyone that has any sort of money now, no matter the size of the money, whether small or big, you want to change it to the US dollar.
Yeah, to keep it.
To what we call store of value in economics. Yeah, you want to maintain the store of your value, meaning that, okay, like maybe in Naira, you are worth, let's just say 50 million, right? And the way the price is and exchange rate is going up, it means that in 2 months, that 50 million may only be worth 15 million, right? So in order to keep that your 50 million as 50 million, you now want to change it to a foreign currency and hold it. But there's a problem with that. When everybody changes money to US dollar, they are not using the US dollar for anything. They're not using it for investment, they're not using it for production, they're not using it for any kind of business, they're just holding the US dollar. So as an economy, that's the whole economy now, because everyone is going in the same direction. So the whole economy is suffering from investment decisions, is suffering from no business plan, is suffering from collapse in investment and collapse in production.
Nobody's doing anything.
Now the root to a total collapse in the economy, even though the individual has taken a rational decision for himself and for the business. That rational decision is a completely irrational decision when it comes to the economy as a whole. And that is why it is important that we don't get completely into that zone. But yes, we are already in the worst scenario now, so it's we're already at the bottom, and I hope we improve from here.
Okay, so you mentioned everything that government is doing so far to improve the situation. Can you maybe talk about one or two policies and explain them? Because some people are hearing these policies, but they don't understand what exactly the policy is all about.
Okay, so for instance, the Central Bank of Nigeria had what we call the Monetary Policy Committee meeting Monday and Tuesday. That was yesterday. And what did they do? The summary of what they did for the benefit of your listeners is that they tightened what we call monetary policy. What does that mean? Because if you have too much money in circulation or in the banks, then those too much monies, they do two things. They either support the rise in prices or they are converted to US dollars. So by tightening that gap, the expectation is that there is less liquidity and less money in the in circulation and in the economy to pursue goods and services that drive increases in prices and of course to drive and US dollars. So hopefully that support, that alone is not sufficient, but it helps to support the tightening of liquidity and of course help to support the stabilization of the exchange rate. So that's basically what they did yesterday.
Okay.
That's not the only thing they've been doing, but that's what they did yesterday.
What are some of the other things?
Some other things they've been doing is also in that line. I mean, you have they've been selling bonds, selling open market. They've been doing open market operations. Everything is just to mop up liquidity into the system. I think the governor said yesterday that the last exercise they did, that was even before yesterday's one, the last exercise they did, they were able to bring in 2-point-something US billion dollars. Yes, so that is definitely going to continue and until they are able to stabilize the exchange rate, because I think that's the key actually. Once you are able to stabilize the exchange rate, I genuinely believe that inflation will start to fall.
Okay, number once again is 0813-331-3172. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
This is Radio 1, 103.5 FM.
All right, you're welcome back. You are still listening to NECA Voice of Business, and we are still talking Forex, business challenges and opportunities. In the studio with me, I have the Chief Executive Officer of Thinkbusiness Africa, Dr. Ogho Okiti. Thank you once again for being with us. And at least we'll be doing some basic introductions right now. So I want us to go to the next thing we should ask. The title said opportunities. Challenges. I think we've talked a lot about the challenges. So what are the opportunities for businesses here? Because from the way you said challenges, I'm still finding it difficult to look at any opportunities. So, and I want you to focus it on big businesses and small businesses, because we have so many small and medium scale businesses right now.
So I think the opportunities, the opportunities I will talk about, they've always been there. And it's about how we sustain those opportunities. So what do I mean by that? Nigeria is a big market, at least in Africa. The population is huge. The population is big. And we actually produce loads of things. We actually do produce loads of things. However, my experience is that we are not export focused.
Okay.
We are not. And it's one of the reasons why we are where we are. We produce so many things, but we don't try to produce for the global economy. We try to, because there is enough market here.
So we're just satisfied.
We are just satisfied here. But that is not good for the economy. So no matter what each and everyone is doing now, we should be asking ourselves, who else need what I have? In Europe, in the Americas, in other African economies, who else need them? Because until we begin to do that and do it extensively and do it on a scale that is becoming significant, then we will always struggle in terms of earning the US dollars. So it is not that, oh, I need US dollars on Thursday, which is tomorrow. Oh, then I say, oh, what can I sell on Wednesday? No, we've been in this situation before. So we are in this situation again. So what is it that I'm producing? What is it that I'm selling? What is that the services that I'm rendering? And who are those that would need that same services or that same goods outside of
country.
Nigeria? Because those ones outside of Nigeria, they will not pay you in naira. They will pay you in foreign currency. So that is what each and everyone needs to now look at. I think we should be tired of serving only the Nigerian market. And let me say this is why I have a problem with any government policy, program, or initiative that limits Nigerian exports.
Do we have any?
Oh yes, I mean, so for instance, they say, oh, they are taking food outside of Nigeria, oh, ban it. Oh, they are taking this outside of Nigeria, ban it. No, it's not banning those things that solve our problem. It's can we produce more?
And get
Instead of banning the one that is going, because when you ban the one that is going outside the country, you destroy the market for those exporters. And when you destroy the market for those exporters, they may not be able to regain the market. That is the government doesn't see it like that, you know. So there is nothing wrong in exporting anything from this country.
We just need to get.
If we need to produce more, we need to provide the environment for them to produce more, not to stop the one that is already going outside of this country.
Okay.
Yes, so that is the problem. That is the government side of things. But as businesses as well, whatever it is that we produce, when we're doing our strategy, we're doing our plans, we're doing whatever it is that we are doing, we should ask ourselves, okay, hang on a minute, I'm producing this. I'm producing maybe glasses. I'm producing maybe biscuits. I'm producing. So, is it only in Nigeria that they need the things I'm producing? No, it's not only in Nigeria. So we should, starting from now, because we haven't been doing it well as a business, every business should create opportunities to earn export receipts from outside of this country, and that is the best thing that we can do for Nigeria.
So a lot of people, for instance, some people that have tried to export. Okay, let's take this call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Afolabi from Lagos.
Afolabi, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Okiti, for your, particularly for the opportunity challenges of forex business that in Nigeria. I want to ask whether you are aware that the Central Bank of Nigeria gave advice to the Nigeria Customs Services that they should adopt the closing FX rate on the date of opening of Form M for the importation of goods as the FX rate to be used for the import duty assessment. If you are aware, what is your view? That's number one. Number two, on what government is doing to ensure that the inflation is brought under control, like selling of bonds, market operation, market operation, and even this recent one of attacking the economy through monetary policy. You discover that because we are not export driven, unlike in those days. Where we exported cocoa, coffee, cassava, groundnut, and all the rest of them. So, but nowadays you discover that we are only dependent on oil, which we know the volatility of the oil, the theft and all the rest, that is not making it possible to generate enough income. So with this now, the farmer cannot go to the farm. Insecurity. We don't have enough farm again in Nigeria. So people have built houses on all these farms that you can now use as a way of planting and exporting. Now, what can we do with this thing now? Government ban that people should not exporting cassava, rice into the air because we don't have enough in the country. So what is your suggestion to the government to ensure that they make the farm available to the farmers and so that they can produce enough and go on export and not to put unnecessary bottleneck on this farmer and the insecurity to be under control. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Folabi. But this can respond to him.
Yes, I mean, I'm aware of those measures, and I think is in the right. I think it was the right thing to do because until they did it, the initial policy was affecting business plans. Going by what I said, it's all about. It's not about high or low. Many people think, oh, it's about high exchange rate or low exchange rate. No, it's never about high or low. What is important is not high or low. What is important is stability.
Okay.
Can I look 3 months ahead?
And
Can
plan.
I plan 6 months ahead?
So even if
Can
it's
I
high.
plan 1 year ahead? Yes.
So even if it's high, I know what I'm going to budget.
What I'm going to budget. So, what the Central Bank of Nigeria has done is, by putting the exchange rate at the time of filling the form here, is that the entire process of that importation is now guided by that exchange rate. It doesn't matter what happens to the fluctuation of the exchange rate afterwards. It's guided by the exchange rate for which you started the process. So that's, for me, is the right thing to do, and I think they should be commended for doing that. In terms of inflation, I already said that at the start of this program, what the central bank also is doing at the start of, in tightening monetary policy. But that is what they can do. What the government itself can do is even more important. And that is what Mr. Folabi was talking about. Dealing with security. Dealing with security. Security has affected food production drastically. So it is not about banning the export. It's about dealing with the production side of things. Because when people can go to farms, then people will produce. But if they can't go to farms, then they can't produce.
Yeah.
So that is what we need to deal with. For me, I think that has become the most critical measure that the government can take. And I believe the government is working on those areas. But that is what it is. Deal with security, support the farmers as much as possible, especially real farmers, not suit and agbada farmers. They support real farmers, and then those people can expand production. That would be my response.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, it's 0813-331-3172. 0813-331-3172. We are still talking Forex, business opportunities and challenges right now on the show, Nika Voice of Business. Now, if you, for sponsorship, you want to sponsor in any way the program, Nika Voice of Business, please, you can call Adenike on 0802-344-9145. That's 0802-344-9145. Or you can call Oluwaseun on 0816 0600 0305. Sorry, let me say that again. 0816 06 0305. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on questions we have for you today. So looking inward now, because from as you must have heard, we had a similar edition of this program last week, a few weeks ago. What exactly is, how can businesses look inward to help themselves? Because you have mentioned one of the things that a lot of, even our manufacturing industry import a lot of things that they use to manufacture. So what are some of the ways that some businesses can maneuver around to help themselves in this period?
Okay, I mean, obviously, manufacturing processes, businesses in 2024 is different from what it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It has changed drastically. So, for me, I think the best thing for businesses is actually macroeconomic stability.
Is
It's
what?
actually that stable prices, stable
That's all.
exchange. That's the most, because if you want to plan, so if you go to some countries now, their businesses are looking 20 years ahead.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
why are they able to look 20 years ahead, and our businesses, we are not able to look 3 months ahead?
3 months.
So because the thing is that if you want to produce, you say we should look inwards. If you want to produce, there are two major things that you need. Two major. I mean, there are probably three. I'll probably mention three. One is that price stability. We struggle with it. So that's number one. That is already, a business in Nigeria is already struggling compared to a business somewhere else because of price instability.
Yeah.
That's number one. Tied to that price instability is also exchange rate instability. So let's regard those two things as number one. Number two, power. So businesses can plan, no matter the scale of their production, no matter the size of their production, no matter the nature of their production, no matter the nature of their service, right? They can plan because power is taken for granted, right?
Sure.
But here in Lagos, even if you are running a 6-man office that you are not producing, you are only using computers, you will still have a 30 kVA generator making noise behind your office. So first thing, price stability. Second thing, power. Then the third thing is what you can call the soft side of business environment. So some people will say finance. Finance is one of the problem, but it's not the major problem. It's not, because the finance is tied to that price and exchange rate stability. The reason the finance people can't give you 10, 15 years is also because if they give you 1 billion today, that 1 billion will be nothing in 10 years, given the price and exchange rate instability. So that is, but businesses can borrow 15 years, 20 years elsewhere. So how do you compete? So that's another one. But the key one is that if you are a business and you are borrowing, what are you using the borrowing for? Are you using it to actually produce, or you are using it to do every other thing that could have been, that somewhere else, someone else in another country would have taken for granted?
Yeah.
So for instance, now if you want to rent a place now in Lagos, even for a small office, they'll be asking you for 2 years. They'll be asking you for 2 years, a small office. Okay, but elsewhere, it is done every month. So everything is like, we just don't want businesses to do well in this country. So it is all those small, they look small things, but those are the things affecting investment decisions in Nigeria. And that is why small scale businesses, let me try and say this. Every business in the world started small. So whether you have Microsoft, whether you have Nvidia, whether you have Apple, it is 2 or 3 people that came together one day and registered the company, right? So this Apple, this Microsoft, all these big companies, the Nestle, the Cadbury, they did not start big.
No.
So why is it that our own small scale businesses are not able to grow, to transit from small to medium to big? Those are the challenges.
Wow.
So it looks like, Nigeria is full of small scale businesses, one-man businesses everywhere. Yes, it is not good for the economy. You need big businesses. But how many businesses are moving from small to medium to big? We should evaluate why they are not able to grow. It can't just be because, oh, nobody knows how to grow. No, it can't be. It means that the environment is hostile.
Wow. So, what are some of the things that government should do to make the
Those are the
environment
things.
not too
I've mentioned 3 things.
Uh,
Those things are very, very critical. I mean, 1, you must deal with price stability.
Mm-hmm.
That is critical. 2, you must deal with power. Because the money that, even in your own house, even in your own small house, you have 4 bedroom or you have 5 bedroom. Can you afford to be buying generator of 10, 15K every day?
Every day, no.
It's true. I mean, that's family. Then talk about it in business terms. Just imagine what it means for a business to be servicing generator every day. That is money that you could have used
for something else.
But you are servicing generator every day. So many people think that, oh, it's just, business is that. Those are the issues.
So even any small profit you should have to grow. You are buying
you are servicing
petrol.
diesel.
Okay, so let's go to this issue of one of the policies, floating the naira. That's the very first thing, floating the naira. What's your take on that?
I laugh when people ask me this question because the naira is not floated. I know they use the word floated, but the naira is not floated.
Okay, so let's define
the
now
naira
what
is managed.
Okay, let's define what floating is.
Yes, floating means that it is completely left to market forces, and it is a convertible currency. There are only few currencies like that in the world. Few. Even the Indians, the China, the South Africans, everybody manage their currency. Nobody leaves the currency just to market forces, and anybody can just buy. It's just nobody does that. So what happened I think it was the word that was used.
Okay.
So let me try and explain it without using those words.
Okay.
The president came in June.
Yeah.
And first the exchange rate was artificially kept low, right? Yeah, artificially kept low, and because it felt it was artificially kept low, it's okay. Let's bring it to where it is on the parallel market, right? And rather than continue to support it at that level, of course, because we don't even have the resources to do that, they left it. They gave a bit more freedom for the exchange rate to move, right, compared to the past regime. So, however, the same government, that is why I said it's not free. The same government now is also trying to provide some stability, because without that stability, it's a problem. Here, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning at the studio there.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to contribute briefly to what you are discussing there.
No problem. Can we have your... Okay, Festus, go ahead, please.
Yes. I feel that the government needs to control exports to a reasonable extent. For example, let us look at the food commodities. We don't have enough yam to eat in Nigeria. Yeah. So that commodity needs to be controlled. And again, the market, we have a lot of dishonest business organizations that kill investment. Somebody said he will give a very high interest rate on an investment, and somebody put money there, only for the money to disappear. So these are some of the problems. Thank you very much. Government should do something about it. Control in discipline in the market, in businesses, and stop that indiscipline, theft, and other things happening in our market in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Festus, for calling. Before you respond, thank you so much. Before you respond to Mr. Festus, there's a message here. It says, "Good morning, presenter and your guests. Please ask your guests if it is possible to eradicate the foreign exchange markets." Osaro from Yaba.
You can't eradicate foreign exchange market. I mean, because if you eradicate the market, then it becomes allocation.
Allocation.
Yeah, it means that government will be allocating to whoever needs it, and if government start allocating to whoever needs it, then it's corrupted.
Yeah,
then it becomes okay.
You have to know somebody to get
exactly.
money.
Now I know you. So you say, you need US dollars. Then you will call me if I'm the one in government. Then you call me
to get.
Then I will say, okay, you should get. So the market frees everybody so that they can go to the market and of course get the foreign exchange that they need. So that's the best approach. But it does not mean that the government has no role to play, and the government still plays a huge role. So the government still plays a huge role. What we have is a managed float.
Okay.
What we have is a managed float, and this is the right approach. The rapid depreciation of the naira that we have seen in the last few months is not helpful for anyone at all. Don't let anyone deceive you. This is not good for anyone at all, because as long as you have a connection to Nigeria, and it continues to go, I've told you how the whole economy around you will collapse. So are you going to be in isolation? So it means that, God forbid, you get to a point you are earning US dollars and you go to the market and there's something to buy.
Wow.
Yes, no. Oh, you think it got to that point in Venezuela?
Wow.
Yes, you can hold the US dollar, but because the whole businesses have collapsed, so there's nothing to buy. So do you want to produce your own water, produce your own food, produce your own shirt, produce your own internet? Because everything will collapse at this rate. So we don't want it to go beyond this level. That's it. That is why everybody's prayer, everybody's hand must be on deck to ensure that the central bank and all the government succeed in bringing macroeconomic stability in place.
Okay, let's go back a bit to what you mentioned about businesses not doing well. You mentioned the reasons, a lot of reasons why. And when you said this business is collapsing with this foreign exchange again, it's kind of struck another chord in me. So what are some of, as we just want to round off here, and just like reiterating the things that need to be in place for businesses to grow in spite of what is happening now. We've read about the policies they are trying to do, but just like a reminder, what needs to be done, and if there are things business owners should be aware of to help them.
Okay, so for me, as a business person, I'm not talking of growth now. I'm talking of staying alive.
Okay.
When I mean staying alive, I'm not talking as an individual staying alive. I'm talking that at the end of this season, because this season will come to an end, let your business be alive. So it means that ensure that your output, I mean where your income is, you secure as much income as possible, and you manage your expenditure as much as possible. That is the best thing that can happen to any business now. So what is my income? Let's say my income is 200 million, or my income is 50 million, whatever it is. Where are those income coming from? What am I doing for those people that are giving me those income? How do I support and how do I maintain that income level? For the moment, that is critical. Then where is my expenditure? What are the things I am spending on in order for me to be able to get those income? How can I manage the cost around them? How can I manage the value? How can I manage the productivity to ensure that, okay, with this cost I'm able to adjust and continue to adjust until the economic improves. So at the moment, it's not about, my business does 20% growth, or my business must do 40% growth. That's not the focus at the moment. The focus is that you stay your business afloat, and that is what is important at the moment.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And we have to end the show at this time. And as you said, hopefully things have to go up, things have to get better, and definitely not worse.
Thank you so much.
All right, so this is NECA Voice of Business. We've been talking business, Forex business challenges and opportunities there. And our guest, Dr. Ogho Okiti, has been trying to at least let us see what exactly is on ground, and at the end there try to give us a few tips, especially as business owners, to ensure that you stay alive as a business and not die. Thank you once again for joining us on the show, Dr. Okiti.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
All right, so that's it on NECA Voice of Business. For sponsorship, please contact Adenike on 0802 344 9145 or Oluwaseun on 0816 0600305. Till next week, my name is Alaomi Akonjo. Have a good week.
This is what happens behind the mic. We argue.
It concern you.
Of course. That way we have people are saying they're arresting people and releasing
I
them.
saw a video.
Arresting and releasing them.
Bam.
We agree.
With the rising trend of kidnapping in Lagos State, maybe we should discuss this issue today so Lagos can react to it.
Yeah, it's really, really nice that we can look at it from the security aspect of it. We can open the phone line, people can contribute.
And we have fun.
Let me quickly do my preaching this thing.
Fabulous if you get it right.
The midi dress is a dress that you wear with the midi.
And out comes the best on Radio 1, 103.5 FM.
Assalamu alaikum ẹ̀yin múmìnà àti múmìnì òdodo. Láti jẹ́ kí àwẹ̀ ọdún yìí kó dùn kú lárinrin, ilé-iṣẹ́ Radio 103.5 FM ti ṣe àlàkalẹ̀ àwọn ètò alálùbáríkà fún ìgbádùn ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nílé, ẹ̀yin onílé-iṣẹ́, lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́, lájọ-lájọ, mọ́ṣáláṣí àti ẹ̀yin tí Ọlọ́run bá yọ̀ǹda fún. Ẹ láǹfààní láti ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ àwọn ètò wa lọ́lọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan. Àwọn ètò bíi ìrun pípè, ẹ̀dìdẹ ẹmúsàárì jẹ, àyọkà látinú Al-Quran, ètò àwọn obìnrin Al-Muminat, ọ̀nà ọ̀la, oṣù ìdẹ̀ra àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ láǹfààní láti ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ ìṣẹ́jú 5, 15, 30 ìṣẹ́jú àti wákàtí kan gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ọlọ́run bá ti yọ̀ǹda fún yín. Fún àlàyé kíkún ẹ pè
Lẹ́kan 0703 899 8468 0703 899 8468. Adams 0805 348 1820 0805 348 1820.
Ẹ tún láǹfààní láti wá sílé iṣẹ́ wa ní Radio Nigeria Broadcasting House, Ìkòyí. A ó máa retí yín o. Ma salam.
Flip the music. Jockey, And it goes like, my mind did for you. I go fight for your love.
Radio 103.5 FM.
Ghana girl say she want marry me, yo. I hope say she sabi kuku wache. Hope your love go sweet past the sheet up. Baby girl, I say your body na killer, oh. Oh, yeah, I get it tired of your body, oh, yeah. Only on your body. That girl for the corner, there's somebody made a call, I'm see the wine, I see fire for her body, oh. And if you follow me, go now, enjoyment go kill 'em. Baby girl, you bad, girl, the way you whine. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Die for the love, girl, I want me, you want for the dough. For the no, girl I want for the die for the dough, die for the dough. Girl I want for the dough, girl die for the no, girl die for the no. If I sing for you, you gon' love me, oh baby, love me non-stop. I will love you non-stop, always this you want top, baby, oh baby, oh. All over the world, want me, oh. Play the music non-stop, tell them dance to my song, tell them shake it bum bum. There's somebody made a call, I'm oh, they see the wine, I see fire for her body, fire for her body, and if you follow me, go now, enjoyment go kill 'em. Baby girl, you body, girl, the way you whine, I demand over you, girl, I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman, I demand over you, girl. For the love, girl I want me, she want for the dough. Oh, that's all for the no. Girl I want for the die for the dough, die for the dough. Girl I want me, she want for the dough. Girl I die for the no, girl I die for the no. Ghana girl say she want marry me, yo. I hope so she sabi kuku wache. Hope your love go sweet past the sheet up. Baby girl, I say your body na killer, oh. Oh, yeah, I get it tired of your body, oh, yeah. Only on your body. Can say, yeah. Baby, why not can say, yeah. Another day, we were not going. And the girl I did there one day.
This is Radio 1, 103.5 FM.
What life has taught me? Life has taught me many things. First is that we're not just random figures on earth. Every one of us is here for a purpose with more than one gift, which we should use to add value, bring benefits to other people around us. Life has also taught me that the true essence of every human being is love, because we are from a source, which is love in entirety. And we're here to give love to everyone around us, everything around us, all the time. My name is Ikwo Diana Basi Eke. I'm a writer, performance poet, and a designer.
Looking at my bag, that's small picking now. Maybe where it is love now. Oh, God, it's all a thief now. I beg.
Jungle justice is illegal.
We don't take laws into our hands.
It wholly encourages more violence and aggression.
It is against the law.
Why brutalize someone for stealing? There are many people that are trying their best to make ends meet.
I've had one or two experiences like that.
The guy stole something, like Gary, so they beat him. They had to pour petrol and fire on boys.
I'm not in support of jungle justice. We need more to sensitize people.
Creating job opportunities, that's just it.
Jungle justice is no good.
It does not promote peace and harmony within the society. Learn to overlook things, endure, and to ensure that we minimize jungle justice or eradicate it totally.
Say no to jungle justice. Report all crimes to the appropriate authorities.
You're listening to Radio 1 103.5 FM. The time is 11 o'clock.
From today's unedited stories, straight from the heart of the people, this is Major News. Radio 1 103.5 FM.